Trapped by Michael Northrop, Chapter 8. A half-dozen swears crackled down the line where we were sitting. F-bombs going off like fireworks. And then one by one, cell phone screens popped on and hovered in the darkness like oversized electronic fireflies. "Check it out," said Pete as he activated his flashlight app. Faces faded in and out of view as he swung his phone in a wide semicircle. "Ow," said Julie after looking directly at it. "Jerk." He swung the beam back toward her, and they exchanged small, nervous laughs. When he turned it off, the hallway was dark again. The lines that brought power to the school from a substation a mile away had come down. They were lying somewhere in the snow, hissing and kicking, or just dead and buried. The power lines around here were thick and even ran underground in places. I guess the power company figured out that was cheaper than replacing them after every blizzard or ice storm. Of course, not all blizzards were created equal, and I wasn't surprised that this one had brought them down. I was surprised it had taken this long. I think we'd all been waiting for it. "What just happened?" asked Julie, though it was pretty obvious. She wasn't dumb. She was just talking so she wouldn't feel alone in the dark. Most of the others joined in, but not me, not right away. I needed to think about this, figure out what it meant. This was real isolation now. They wouldn't even be able to see the school from the road, to see the lights on and realize that people were stuck here. Gozel would know where we were, but a man could get turned away easily in the dark in a storm like this. And this was absolute darkness. Wall into walls, trip over furniture darkness. I couldn't even see the big white face of the clock above the drinking fountain. The little electric hum it had been giving off this whole time had gone quiet. Its hands had stopped short in their slow crawl towards 7 o'clock. As far as it was concerned, time was standing still. It was winter now, and at this hour it would have been dark anyway. And on a totally overcast day like this, there wouldn't be any last rays. And on a totally overcast day like this, there wouldn't be any last rays leaking over the horizon. I've heard that in the big cities, it never really gets totally dark like this because of all the headlights and streetlights and all of that. But we weren't in a city. We weren't even near one. Our power was out and we couldn't even keep one set of headlights lit and above snow level. We were in the boondocks, the sticks, the butt end of nowhere. It seemed like I should still be able to see the snow. I mean, it was as white as the thing could be, but there was no light for it to catch now, and it was invisible beyond the black sheets of safety glass. It was still falling, though. You could just sort of sense it out there. You know how sometimes you can tell that it's gray and rainy outside, even if you're not near a window? You know how you can just feel it somehow and it sucks the energy right out of you? That's what this was like. except it wasn't rain and it wasn't draining as much as suffocating. It was like being slowly buried by something quiet and heavy. It was like a cold hand reaching out for your neck in the dark. All I could see was the double image of the cell phone screens floating along the wall and then reflected back from the hallway glass, as if our phantom doubles were sitting and facing us 3 feet away. They flipped on and off, but after a while, they were mostly off. Then there was nothing left to do but sit there on my couch, thinking dark thoughts. I guess I was sort of wallowing in it, but then I snapped back into the conversation going on around me, because Krista said something that I hadn't thought of. What about the heat? Oh yeah, I said. Will it stay on? She said. I think like the flame or whatever keeps burning, I said. Like on a gas stove, I mean. It's probably lit electronically. It's not like there's some dude down there with a match. But once it's going, I think it keeps going. But it doesn't keep going like constantly, does it? Said Krista. Yeah, said Julie. Doesn't it go off, on and off? I thought about what I knew about furnaces. Or maybe it was a boiler. Not much. It seemed like the sort of thing people used to know about. I thought about the furnace at my house. How on cold days you could hear it click on. How it would sort of hum to life, and a few seconds later, the warm air would start rising up through the vents, and you might put your hand there, feel the warmth, and be glad to be inside. And then I thought about how it would click off a little while later, once the thermostat said its work was done. Yeah, I said, I guess. Well, will it start up again the next time it shuts off? With the power out, I mean? Is it on now? Someone else said. I wasn't sure who. Is anyone near like a vent or anything? No one was. I didn't think it will, said Jason. His dad worked on houses for a living. You don't think what? Said Krista. Think it will start back up again? She was talking to Jason now. Even in the dark, you could sort of hear which way she was facing. I don't think she knew about his dad, but she probably heard the confidence in his voice. It was the sound of someone speaking from experience rather than someone just thinking out loud. And I'm sure that Jason did know more about it than me. He was my friend, but it still sort of stung to be cut out of the conversation like that. I picture Krista's face, her eyes open wide in the dark, her soft body leaning against the hard wall. Yeah, said Jason. I think it's pretty much done without power. I mean, it's not electric heat, but it needs electricity for other stuff. I couldn't tell if Jason didn't know what that other stuff was, if he was just thinking out loud like me, or if he did, but didn't want to sit there explaining it to the rest of us. I tried to think what he might be talking about. Switches, fans, pumps. I had no idea. It made me think of some big old factory somewhere, like the kind of place where kids lost their fingers during the Industrial Revolution. Well, okay, said Pete. So it won't relight. Can't we keep it from like clicking off in the first place? You mean like the thermostat, said Julie, like at home? Yeah, said Pete. Couldn't we like open a window next to it? The heat would keep going then, right? Doesn't anyone know where a thermostat is? No one did. At least no one said so. I realized that we hadn't heard anything from Les in a while. I wasn't even sure he was still over there. I hadn't heard Elijah either, but I was too concerned about where he was. Wait, said Pete. He said that a lot. We can use my flashlight app to find one. It seemed like a good idea to me. Find a thermostat and keep it cold. Of course it wasn't. Won't matter, said Jason. Why not? Three of us said at once. Hello, he said. It felt a little unnecessary. Yeah, we said. The thermostats are electric. What does that mean? Said Julie. And then she got it. Oh, no power, no heat. Well, said Pete, we are really and truly screwed. I tried to think of something to add, but I couldn't even do that. I felt angry and helpless and stranded, all at the same time, and then I heard a laugh. It was soft and sort of under the breath, but someone was definitely laughing. At first, I thought it was Les, and I was going to tell him to shut his face. He can't punch what he can't see, right? But then I realized it was Elijah, and that just creeped me out. A few seconds later, Les joined in.